It's so easy to get caught up in the trap where you spend more money on things that you think are assets, but actually liabilities, and are simply diverting your money from doing something more productive. We found 10 things poor people think are assets, but are actually not. Find out now if you are wasting your time and hard-earned money on any of these. Number 10. Experience over knowledge. You know that saying, experience is the best teacher? Most people take this to heart, especially those who are not wealthy. Rather than talking to someone who has gone before, learning from someone else's experience, or reading up about it. It doesn't matter that you have worked for over 10 years or so. Someone could invest a year in learning and come out with a better understanding of experience. There is room for learning on the job, but you need to show self-initiative by reading up on what you can. Get yourself a mentor so that you are not going through life blind. Ask the hard questions. Sure, you can learn by failing, but it would be so much better if you didn't have to. This is also one of the reasons people stay away from investing. They know of someone with a cousin whose neighbor put in what they could and got nothing. But if they are people who are successfully investing, then there is no viable excuse. Get the information. Knowledge is power, and this is true in every aspect of life, including money. Number 9. Hitting the grind. It's important to acknowledge that there are some beliefs we hold on to that end up keeping us in the same financial bracket, like the hustle culture. Forget working hard, it's time to work smart. The poor people want to be in control of everything, and that translates into overseeing everything. They think if anyone else comes in to help, they are trying to rob them and steal them of their business ideas. Therefore, they keep their business ideas and ventures so close to their breast and eventually smother them. The rich, on the other hand, know that people can be an asset, especially if you show them that you can trust them with what's important to you. The rich delegate most of their work, and that allows them to diversify as much as they can. They have other people to oversee the small daily tasks and will only come in for major decisions. They can redeem their time and enjoy their money. So, rather than die in your concept of hard work, reconsider how else you can do it. Don't get to the point of burnout. Call in help if you need it. Take a vacation when you need it. Come back with a clearer head so that you can improve your game plan and business strategies. Number 8. Going in with little. The rich exude confidence. It's almost like their second skin. Unfortunately, the poor don't think that that is a good option. They think that looks like entitlement, and that gets them thinking that it's only the rich and lucky who can get on well with life. There's some reason for this kind of thinking. It keeps disappointment at a distance. If you didn't get something you were looking for, then it's because fate is against you. This thinking translates into the amount of work you get to put in. If you think that life is against you, you won't do your best. You will only give half-hearted work and reap empty harvests. The rich see no reason why they shouldn't get what they want. They give everything their best because they know they will get what they want. They become better while the poor give up hope. Therefore, the rich start to set bigger goals and make greater strides. There's nothing admirable about small goals. When they say the sky's the limit, they say this to inspire you to great heights. So think about getting your own house, and you will do your best to get out of debt and hit those goals. Go big. Number 7. Longtime friends. There is such a thing as social capital. You need to invest in relationships, but these relationships need to feed you. Some people say that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most of your time with. Unfortunately, it is hard to stand for what is right when you are the only one. If your closest friends go out partying all night and don't show up at work, then that is most probably a trait you have or will pick up very soon. The rich pick their friends carefully, and the relationship should be of mutual benefit so that it's not toxic and draining. When the relationship stops serving the people involved, they have no problem letting go and moving on. The poor, on the other hand, have some loyalty when it comes to friendships. While this is a great quality, it also trips you up when you have to let go of people. Don't think of how in a few years they could be business owners, and you would need their connections. At the rate your strange friends are going, it's more probable that in a few years they'll be in jail rather than owning a business. It's okay to move on even though you've known the people since you were in diapers. You will meet better people when you are not hanging on to baggage from other relationships. Number 6. Your gadgets. Technology has made communication and entertainment so much easier. Ads don't make it any easier. They make it seem like you can't have a proper life without certain gadgets. They sell it so well that people consider selling their body organs just to get some of those gadgets. The gadgets promise to make sure you stay in touch with your loved ones. But even though we are the most connected generation, we have registered the highest levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. If you've watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, some of this can be attributed to social media. Most rich people have someone else run their social media platforms so that they don't have to deal directly with all that negativity. Consider taking a social media break. Also, if your old gadgets are working just fine, you don't have to spend so much money to replace what isn't broken. The rich also prefer to invest in books over TVs. Find ways to minimize your interactions with the screen, especially if you just use it for mindless entertainment and make no money from it. Number 5. A car. There's nothing like cruising down the highway with the wind blowing in your hair and singing along to your favorite songs. At least that's how the movies make it seem. Sure, there is something to owning a car, especially the freedom to get wherever you need at a moment's notice. But cars depreciate very fast. Before the year is over, you have probably made more payments on it than you will make back at resale value. Of course, it depends on the car and your population, but cars are a money drain, with gas prices, maintenance, insurance, and all the payments you need to make. There are options to this. You could go for public transport, especially if you are in a city with great public transport options. Consider going green by walking or biking wherever you go. A car becomes a liability in the long run, especially if you're the only one in your circle with one. You become everyone's chauffeur, and they use your car for even the most mundane tasks. If you do decide to get a car, go for a second-hand car. No reason to break your bank account over something you will be cursing in the middle of heavy traffic. Number 4. Formal education. A few years ago, education was the way to get to the top, but that has shifted so greatly in this century, especially with the internet. There are probably some people you know who are doing well for themselves despite not having a college degree. Unfortunately, not all people want to accept that. It's easy to work yourself into debt over student loans for a degree that you may not use. Career change is a common phenomenon these days, and it's hard to find people who comfortably work their whole lives in the same field or company. Of course, the point of education is not simply for a piece of paper, and not everyone is cut out for entrepreneurship. There's nothing wrong with desiring higher education, but if you think it's going to set you back a bit financially, then consider getting some experience and see if you still feel the same way a few years later. With the way jobs pop up, you may find you are more interested in something other than what you were going to settle for. If you badly want an education, or are a real-life Hermann Granger and studying is how you relax, try your hand at the various online courses. Some of them give you certificates that are acknowledged by companies you hope to get to. Number 3. Saving over investing. One of the first things you ever hear when it comes to money is saving. They probably gifted you a piggy bank or some version of it before they explain investments. While saving is good, investing makes strides ahead of inflation and makes money for you while you are sleeping. It's a better use for your money. The rich would rather invest than save. Sure, there is risk involved with every investment, but they count the odds and get some money out of it. Make sure you keep something for your investments while you take off what you use for saving. You can read up on investments or ask someone who is doing so well. Invest in real estate, bonds, stocks, and other financially secure ventures that you can read up on. Number 2. Your house. We all have a picture of what the perfect life looks like. Something like the American dream. Most of that perfect life involves a permanent house with a picket fence in a great neighborhood. People have been known to sink themselves further into debt just chasing that dream. Do you really need a mansion to be happy? Especially when you will have to consider renovations every 5 years just to keep up and pay a mortgage for 30 years. You can downsize your house. If you are living on your own, get a studio or smaller apartment. If you have no kids yet, you can also keep that as you sort out your finances. The truth is that unless it's your forever home, you will probably want to move around a couple of times before you settle. Make it easier on yourself. Don't commit to a house before you are ready. If you enjoyed it so far, please like this video and leave a comment. What is your best way to save money? Number 1. A job you hate. Having a job is a sure way of making money. We like the stability that steady employment offers, so we hang on to jobs we hate. If you are coming home depressed every day, then consider if you really need that job. You may end up paying more for healthcare and therapy to undo the damage they did. Work doesn't have to seem like a lifelong prison sentence. If you don't look forward to work, ask yourself a few questions like, could it be time for you to resign? Even though the unemployment rates are crazy, keep the faith that what is meant for you will be for you. Holding on to something draining also keeps you from experiencing something better. Take the leap of faith and find a place where you are appreciated and contribute to your full potential.